A problem with the car? High up in the braes, close on midnight, was not the time or place to have a puncture. She turned off Robbie Williams and listened intently. The noise was still there. Coming from somewhere behind her, from outside. She calmed herself, took a deep breath and pushed her foot down. The needle edged towards 60. She jumped violently at the sound of a horn blaring right behind her, blinded as the car filled with light from headlights on full beam inches from a rear bumper. Then, back to darkness. Back to silence. She closed her eyes briefly to readjust her vision. She could see nothing behind her. Nothing but the fog. Everything was quiet now, but for the pernicious return of the drone and the pounding of her heart. She put her foot down. 65. She took another deep breath and glanced at the mileometer, trying to figure out how far she still had to go before she saw the lights of Glasgow. She dared to ease her foot off the accelerator a little, watching the needle fall. Then she felt a jarring thud, and the car juddered and ricocheted forward. Emily cried out as a searing pain ripped through her skull. The lights blinded her again, and a horn sounded deafeningly. Trembling, she changed down. Ahead, the road was clear, the ghosts drifting away. She risked another glance in the mirror, her eyes seeing the bull bars of the 4x4 closing in on her, the silhouettes of two heads, the teeth of the grille pulling up to her bumper, tailgating. And now she could hear clearly, over the panicked whine of her own engine, the deep, constant growl of a predator. Hunting. Waiting. Her mind raced. Whoever was in that car could be off their heads on something. They might run her off the road at any moment. She forced herself to stay calm, to concentrate. There was a scout lodge up here, she knew, just beyond the electricity substation. Some sort of activity centre where they'd be having fireworks, a ceilidh with people dancing, celebrating the new millennium. All she had to do was turn sharp left through the gates and get up the driveway, and she would be safe. She imagined she could even see the lights from here. She slowed again as the road curved, her forearms aching, bracing herself for another shunt from the car behind. Nothing. Curiously, it seemed to have gone. She breathed out, a long, slow breath, dropping her full beam at the flash of a single oncoming vehicle, and slowed to 40. A volley of water broadsided her as the car swept past. Emily drove on, muttering, "Come on, come on," peering into the fog for the electricity pylons. Now she could see, way over to her left, the lights of Lapwing Lodge. Sanctuary. 35. 30. The dyke at the side of the road fell away, and she pulled sharply left, putting her foot down once she was off the road. Crash. Silence. Emily realised her mistake as the strong, chained gates of the electricity substation appeared through the haze that climbed over the crumpled bonnet. She sat very still as the engine coughed and died. She closed her eyes, wishing away the scorching pain in her right shoulder where the seat belt had snapped her collarbone, the stabbing pains in her neck. She tried to unlock her fingers from the steering wheel, but couldn't. Through the crazed windscreen, she saw the ghosts were back, unfurling from the engine, coiling into the night air. She had crashed her new car. Her dad would kill her. But at least she was all right. She was safe. Sore, but safe. She sighed and tried to take a deep breath. Then suddenly the car door was opened, and cold air swarmed round her feet. Strong fingers prized hers from the wheel. The seat belt was unfastened, and then something was covering her face. She tried to move, tried to say something, but couldn't. She could taste blood. Hands were pulling her, gently, firmly, then roughly, too roughly, by the shoulders, then by the hair. She felt the roots rip from her scalp. She screamed but heard no sound, Then she was on the ground, on her knees, her head forced down.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.